Hey folks, this is a rare treat again. This is Pam from NortheastWheelsEvents.com at the 2016 Taste of Britain put on by the Lanco MG Club. We got a 67 Sunbeam Alpine here. I'm going to do a quick walkabout and compare it to the Tiger. This is a 1725. You see the dual side draft. Now this one went over to the alternator ready because it is 67. This had a recirculating ball steering. Check out all the room for that little 4-cylinder. This 1725 was a potent little motor. She was pretty cool. The interior, oh, this one even has a horn ring. That's rare. Very nicely laid out. What was nice with the Sunbeams was they advertised when it first came out in 1960, how do you winterize an Alpine? Roll up the windows. And that was a pretty unique thing back in its day. This body style was very interesting. You also notice the influence of the tail lights and the hooded headlights. Barney Roos of Studebaker actually had a hand in styling this car. He was very heavily influenced by the 57 Bird. So that's why you'll see these influences on through. It was based off of a Hillman Husky platform and did very well. It was a boulevard sports car, but she was no slouch on the track. She really did pretty well. Now this is a 67, so I'm going to zoom in on a very interesting thing. In 1965, Chrysler started buying Roots Group, which produced Sunbeam, Hillman, Humber, Calmer vans. I'm forgetting one, I'll remember it in a minute. Singer, thank you. And by 65 they had completed the purchase. Now let's go over to a 66 Tiger. This of course came factory standard with the Ford 260 V8. What happened was that they bought a boatload of these 260s in 64, shipped them over and plunked them in under the hoods. That's why you had the 260 running well after Ford had discontinued them. Now if you notice the expansion tank, now I want to point out the oil filter. You see that? It's actually a remote oil filter because room is at the premium. Look how tight that is. Number 8 spark plug, which is way under there, is actually one of the easiest plugs to get to. You get to that through an access plug in the footwell of the driver's side. We're going to swing over here to the right side. This particular car has electronic ignition and replacement Holley carburetor. They originally came with a 2-barrel, but any Cobra option was available because Shelby had done the prototype. Notice the generator also. Even the water pump was quite unique. Ran an aluminum housing water pump, which was not standard on your 260. And silly little detail, the flange for the fan was actually off of a Lincoln. Yeah, I had one and went through it. This one has the mini lights. The hardtop was standard with these cars. Traction bars came in after 500 as standard because they would rip it to shreds. The T10 transmission was the big one. This is the Ford 4-speed with the longer throw. Notice they gussied it up with a nice wood dashboard, and yes, that is wood, and wood steering wheel. This one has a roll bar. This thing had so much torque it would rip itself to shreds. There was lots of modifications which were done to just keep these cars on the road because at 2,300 pounds with the Ford V8 stock horsepower was 164. They moved. And remember, this was based off of a little anemic Hillman Husky chassis. How do you spot the difference between an Alpine and Tiger? Very sharp eyes. Notice the twin exhaust versus the single exhaust. Oh yeah, another thing with the Tiger, the battery is in the trunk, whereas behind the seats in a hatch on the Alpine. In the battery position on the Tiger, is the electric fuel pump, SU electric fuel pump. You can't see it because it's underneath the carpet. And the spare tire, rather than standing up in the standard Alpine, is laying flat on the Tiger, and you have a tray in the back, trunk. Cuts down trunk space, but it allows for the battery positioning for the Tiger. A lot of neat little differences on through, and what made these cars really livable. The seats were adjustable for both rake as well as height in the back, forward, aft. The steering wheel was telescopic. You would screw what looks like the centerpiece for the horn, but it isn't. You would unscrew that a little bit, tap it, and you could pull in and out the steering wheel. Even the green and the blue dash lights were like little eyelids. You would just pull it up and down. The later cars, 67, as this is, had under the cowl vents, which were very, very nice. Really cooled you off, because these cars did get rather warm, especially the Tiger. This is Pam from NortheastWheelsEvents.com at the 2016 Taste of Britain, taking a walkabout of the Sunbeam Tiger and the Sunbeam Alpine. For more cool shows like this, make sure you check your wheels every day. That's NortheastWheelsEvents.com, SoutheastWheelsEvents.com, and UKWheelsEvents.com.